Prater, and welcome to another Business Mastery TV broadcast. Our mission is to bring you provocative and entertaining programs filled with news, techniques, and ideas from business leaders from around the globe. In today's Hangout, we're having a critical conversation with Larry Oberto, and Larry is one of the owners of the Oberto Brands, which is a beef and meat jerky snack manufacturer and a longtime sponsor of the U1 Oh Boy Oberto, which is an unlimited hydroplane. Now, Larry, of course, is no stranger himself to racing. He's excelled in both cars and hydroplanes, and in fact was world championship, won the world championship in the FIA championship, and he was the first American to do such since Mario Andretti. Now, I talked to Larry a week ago, and at that time he was able to explain the challenges of the unlimited hydroplane business. He pointed out to us the opportunity, big opportunity that's available to the sport, gave us his proposal, and since then a lot of very interesting things have happened. So I've asked him to come back and to summarize last week's Hangout, and then to bring us up to date with what others are saying about the sport. So, hi Larry, welcome to Business Mastery TV.
Hello, Bill. It's good to be back. I'm looking forward to filling you in and everybody else kind of what's been brewing.
Okay, so great. So Larry, what I'm going to have you do then is I'm going to have you go through the challenges you see in the sport first. Then tell us about the opportunity that you see that's kind of looming right ahead of the sport in a very short period of time. And then third, remind us about what your proposals were. And then finally, I'm very curious to hear what you have to say about what others have been telling you about our program last week and what they think about what's going on. So first, Larry, please review for us the challenges that you see currently facing the unlimited hydroplane business.
Well, the first challenge we talked about last week is the loss of national branded sponsorship throughout the season that we had back in the 90s that was really strong. The club or hobby aspect versus how it competes with people that really want to professionalize things and grow the business side of it. Operationally, the challenge to have a better open-ended clarity in officiating, in tech, in just vision of the sport and how and why we do what we do. And next is ways to improve the show to be more in keeping with what today's audience expects to be entertained with. And then finally, overall vision and honest business plan that's clearly understood that we're lacking now.
Okay, well, good. Thanks for reminding me of all of that. Now, Larry, all that's, I suppose, fine and good, and nothing needs to be done, I would guess, because it's a lot of fun to watch the sport. So what is this, remind us, what is the big opportunity that you see that's available to the sport of unlimited hydroplane racing?
The opportunity is to take what the flat line we currently have and to reattract corporate America nationally to deliver one of the most spectacular products in all of motorsports and the only motorsport of its kind on the water in a way that adds brand recognition, excitement to product categories, and ultimately generates a return for those sponsors financially, as well as cash flow for the sport and a return for the investment of everybody in the sport.
Wow, that is remarkable. I know I've had a chance to talk to you a little bit before we started today, and I'm hoping that you'd tell us where in the world are you sitting What's that right behind you? And give us some illustrations about, what really differentiates this sport from all other kinds of motorsport racing venues.
Well, if you look at motorsports in general, take Formula One, a billion-dollar industry. It's like a hummingbird flittering about. It's amazing technology, super lightweight. Behind me, I've got something 7 times plus its mass and weight. Still going nearly 200 miles an hour and can do a lap speed of like 165 plus miles an hour on an inconsistent surface called water, which there's nothing that is anything like that. So it is on the other amazing extreme that Formula One is to nimbleness. I guess we have a film that you can shoot, show everybody. It was done by JVC Axiom Cameras. It's this cool waterproof camera at Detroit, and that's the oldest motorsports trophy there is, I believe, over 100 years old. So why don't you give people a taste of just what we're talking about when it's running?
Okay, Larry, thanks for that. Let me now tee up this video.
Hey, I'm Steve David, driver of the national champion, Oh Boy Alberto. Come along with us for a ride. We're excited to have you on board.
But I think that's enough. If people want to see that, they can find that on YouTube, Larry. But that was pretty spectacular. You know what really intrigued me is how much I checked to see, and I had 46 seconds of that video, and your brand was on that screen 44 of those 46 seconds. That's quite remarkable. Is that unique to your sport?
Definitely. It's one of the key differentiators is if you're one of, say, 20 to 40 race vehicles in the average car race, your branding on this 12-foot car or 18-foot car even is lost. It's lost in a sea of colors. Our sport, not only did we mention Steve David, but the other half of the time they mentioned what he's driving, which is the Oh Boy Alberto beef jerky. So the numbers on a national broadcast to the audience is absolutely fantastic. Plus, my name is spread across 29 feet, 14 feet wide, again, versus some little tiny car. Cars aren't the only thing to do. This is cheap, massive, and glorious future here, what we can build this to.
Well, you definitely demonstrated your enthusiasm as a sponsor. Now, Larry, can you, in a very succinct period of time, very succinct, summarize exactly what this opportunity is that you see for unlimited hydroplane racing?
The opportunity is to showcase these amazing vehicles in an exciting program that captures today's audience on the shore and on television in a manner that generates a lot of cash flow, that returns an investment to the investors, the sponsors, as well as the team owners and the infrastructure of the sport.
Okay, well that's clear, crystal clear to me. So how are you going to go about getting that done? Now, last week I asked you a similar question, and you said that you had several proposals. Could you review those for us now, Larry?
Well, when we talked about the loss of national brands, to bring them back, we've got to improve the Saturday show. The Saturday show has to capture people's interest, enthusiasm, and anticipation of what Sunday's show is going to look like. The business structure, the way the sport functions, it needs to be streamlined in a sense that keeps costs basically in a known manner, so that when we would standardize some of the things around the sport, so a new person getting in knows where to get all the parts to build their team. And finally, it's to have a unified vision, so the people within the sport and outside the sport know where we're going, why we're going there, and the bullet points of what we're trying to accomplish, so that we can benchmark our success, make changes if we need to change, and all work together.
Okay, great. That's a beautiful summary. Now, Larry, now since last week, when you went through your proposals for how to capture the opportunity, many in the press, many fans, many people inside the industry were able to watch that video either live or the recorded version, and they've given both you and me a great deal of input. I wonder if you could summarize some of the highlights of what you've heard from others about the challenge, about the opportunity, and about your proposal.
I think internally in the sport, the challenges have been discussed, and they understand they've faced them for decades. People have never figured out how to move off the rock they're currently sitting, and I think they are open to seeing what may transpire. Fans have given me real positive response, because they love the sport now, and they want more of what they currently have, and they want to share it with new fans. So they're anticipating some changes. But I think the most encouraging thing, what has really kept me motivated, is the business associations that I've been able to make with people that know of our sport, but currently are not necessarily directly involved in our sport, are very enthusiastic about using their business knowledge and experience with $100 million brands and billion-dollar brands to help formulate this new way of thinking. That, to me, is the real strength, because that will then speak to the people who see the value that bring the new money into the sport.
Oh, that's fantastic. So, Larry, I know you've got several other meetings that you've got scheduled here in the next week or two or three. So I'm looking forward to having you back in a few months to see, after the season's over and you've talked to lots of folks and you've had a chance to get the owners and sponsors together and to talk about things, just what next season might look like. So I'm going to have you back. Thank you very, very much for taking the time to sit with me once again. I really appreciate it. And now, for all of you who are watching the program, keep in mind that you'll be able to close the gap between now and your goals by applying what you've learned. So you've gotten some nuggets about business from Larry today, so put those into practice. And to get you started, take action right now by pressing the Google Plus button, by sharing on Facebook, by tweeting, and if you want, please contact me or Larry Oberto and ask any questions that you may have about today's Business Mastery broadcast, about the sport of unlimited hydroplane racing, and about the opportunities available for the sport. So once again, thank you, and thank you, Larry.